Hello, welcome to Real Speak Real English with Andrew, and I've decided to do a video blog to put on YouTube as opposed to the podcasts that I've been doing recently. And the question that I want to open this video with is, can I teach you a language? Can I teach you a language? That's quite a loaded question. That's quite a dramatic question. Can it be done? No. Well, that's not strictly true. Actually, if you look at the case of beginners, I teach beginners English, I teach beginners Spanish, I can teach beginners French or Italian. I can show you concepts, I can show you ideas surrounding a language. I can give you lexical chunks, phrases, words that go together that you can use in different contexts, in different situations. I can show you some of the grammar as well, how it's used. For example, do we use the passé composé in French or the pretérito indefinido in Spanish? Past simple, present perfect, whatever it is in English, I can show you these grammatical concepts and give you that introduction to the language. Am I really teaching you a language? Well, at this point, yes. But what I'd like to demonstrate, Spanish has got this great verb. The verb in Spanish is enseñar, which means to teach, but it also means to show. So I can show you the language. I don't necessarily have to teach it, because to be successful in learning a language, you need to be motivated. Where does motivation come from? Does it come from the teacher? No, it comes from you. Motivation comes from within you. You have to be motivated to learn that language. You have to know what you want to learn, why you need to learn this language. Is it for holidays? Is it for business? Is it for studies? It's your motivation. It's not mine. You need to be motivated. And motivation is from within. It's intrinsic. Okay? So let's take learning a language. Now, learning is often looked at as being an explicit process. So, okay, from the teacher, today we're going to look at the present simple. This happens in September across the planet. Let's look at the present simple. Now let's look at the present continuous. Let's look at the past simple, the past continuous, the present perfect, the past perfect. Maybe get into conditionals, but let's do these little grammatical chunks and then leave them until next year. And then come back to it, hoping that you can remember and build on exactly what you were taught a year ago. This kind of explicit teaching, it doesn't really work. I mean, I've worked abroad, I've worked in Spain, I've seen people that have studied English from the age of 3 until university, and they still can't hold a conversation in English because all they're taught is present perfect, present simple, past perfect, past continuous. It really doesn't work. What you need to build is a mental representation. You need to build the language in your mind, and to do that you need to keep revisiting and building with greater frequency than, let's do this piece of grammar every year. So language is a strange concept, really. It's not like other subject material. A lot of what we know about language actually exists outside of our consciousness, outside of our awareness. For example, let's take the case of English, where we can say something like the big black cat. We know we can't say the cat big black or the black big cat. We know we can't say this. This is an ingrammaticality, but it's outside of our awareness. So if it's not grammatical, well, this kind of hints that language should be acquired by implicit learning rather than explicit. Language is acquired at a subconscious level. So, for example, I know lots of people that will sit down and they'll get a grammar book to try and learn language. I've got one here. Let me just rustle the paper around. Look at this. Gramática de uso del español. And look, C1, C2. Well, I've used this book, yeah, but not until I got to this level of Spanish, yeah. And there's the book before this for the B2 and the B1. I didn't use these until I got to that level of Spanish, and I just used the grammar to verify, to confirm that what I knew about Spanish, how I was speaking it, well, that I was doing it correctly, yeah. You can't sit down and read this and expect to learn a language. Would you want to sit down and read a book about swimming and then go in a river or a swimming pool and swim? It's impossible. The only way to learn to speak a language is by speaking the language. Okay? Grammar, for example. Noam Chomsky, the sort of great thinker from North America, gave us the phrase, colourless green ideas sleep furiously. So, colourless green ideas sleep furiously. Grammatically, it's perfectly correct. But it doesn't make any sense. So, what function's that to learn a language? None. But it's good to verify. It's good to know that what you are using is correct. So first, learn how to communicate. Ditch the grammar. Throw it away. Learn how to communicate in language. Then come to this. Do this secondly. And while we're talking about communication, communication is not just speaking. Reading and listening are communicative events. You're taking the meaning, you're interpreting it in your mind, you're negotiating, well, what does the writer, what does the speaker, what's this film on Netflix, what are they trying to say? It's still communication, yeah? And also, while I'm talking about grammar, is this a manual? Does this tell me how a language works? No. Language does not follow grammar rules. The grammar rules follow the language. This is an author, Luis Aragonés and Ramon Palencia. They're trying to put Spanish into this book. From this book, I do not get Spanish, but Spanish comes into this book. It's a big difference. So communication, grammar. Also, sometimes grammar, it has no meaning unless you can communicate. You could read in a newspaper, milk drinkers turn to powder. Okay, so without knowing what this means, milk drinkers turn to powder. Does this mean that people who once drank liquid milk are now drinking powdered milk? Or is there some kind of lactic infection which pulverizes consumers? We don't know. Unless we know how to communicate, we can't understand what's being conveyed. And communication is not just speaking, it's reading and listening as well. And if you write in English or a second language, then you're communicating. But as you can see in my podcasts over on Podbean at Real Speak, where I'm speaking naturally in English, when I've transcribed these podcasts, when I've done the transcriptions, the written structures there look very different to what you might see if you were writing a composition. That's because the real spoken English in context is very different to what you might read or what you might write. That's why my podcasts over there are very good to help you learn English. Now, can I teach you a language? Yes, I can. As I've just said, I can teach you the sort of basics. I can teach you how the language works. I can get you up and running with a language. It's very easy to go from a beginner's level to an intermediate level if you have the correct guidance. If you have a teacher like myself with years of experience who knows how to cut through the flan, how to cut through the rubbish, how to eliminate what you don't need to know, how to look at functional, everyday spoken language in chunks and get this message across to you. But you have to have the motivation to go away and learn it. You have to have the motivation to come back to my classes and practice it. Now, students, I've taught many students, on a Monday afternoon, and you say, well, okay, let's use a little bit of past tenses, okay? So, what did you do at the weekend? Nothing. What kind of reply is that? This is the classroom. This is your chance to try to communicate in English with me, with your peers, with other people. What did you do at the weekend? One word. One goddamn word. Nothing. It's pathetic. You can't do nothing all weekend. You may have been bored. You might not have got out of bed. You might have just gone for a walk. You could have stayed at home. You might have been playing computer games. But sure as hell, there's no way on earth that you just did nothing. Take the opportunity. Carpe diem, as they say in Latin. Take the chance, seize the moment, use the time you've got with a teacher in your language class to speak, even if it's just, I was bored all weekend, I didn't leave the house. I watched Netflix, but I've seen everything that was on Netflix that interests me. I watched some videos on YouTube. I watched my favourite YouTuber playing games. I watched Andrew's videos on YouTube. I listened to his podcasts on Podbean or Apple, whatever it is. There's no way on earth you did nothing. So when you get into the class with your language teacher, try to be as expressive as possible. Because these people that just don't want to talk, well, either they don't want to be there, they're not motivated, or they're not interested. Now, if they don't want to be there, that's not my problem. If they're not motivated, really, that's not my problem either. I'm trying my best. I'm putting on a performance. Being a teacher, a language teacher, is often like being an actor, You go into the classroom, you become your alter ego, the teacher. Andrew, the most patient teacher on the internet. I'm quite impatient in real life, but in the classroom, I'm not. It's an act, it's a performance, much like an actor does. And this is what annoys me sometimes, when people say, oh, well, I want to come to your classes, but I don't want to pay so much money per hour. You're not paying money for that contact hour. You're also paying money for my experience, for my having taught languages for years, having learned how to teach them, having learned how to learn languages, and then giving that information to you. If I say I want to charge this much money per hour, you're getting the backstory as well. You're getting the sort of the history. You're getting the accumulation of my experience. Also, if I'm going to deliver a class, I don't just pick up a book and say, right, okay, today let's turn to page 62 and today we're going to study that. No. Rubbish. I'd rather provide something for you that's more personalised. It's your English, not mine, and not this book's. So I'll create a class that's specifically tailored to your needs. So your 1 hour in class actually takes me about 3 hours to write. So why are you complaining about prices? Group classes, same thing. It's not a simple question of pick up a book and turn to page, look, 75. Sin querer, difícil de creer, el infinitivo con preposiciones. I could teach that all day long. I'm not gonna. I'm going to make it real. I'm going to make it practical. I'm going to make it usable. You can have it in class. So never complain about the price that a teacher charges. I got a master's degree, yeah, that took hundreds of hours to do. Yeah? So I know what I'm doing. But you complain. Most people don't, some do. That's just me having a complaint, having a rant, letting off some steam. Other things I get as a teacher, these are things to be aware of as students. I get I've got a Cambridge preliminary test exam next month. Oh, I've got a first certificate exam in 2 months. Oh, I've got a Cambridge Advanced English test next month. Oh, I'm doing IELTS in 3 weeks and I want to get a band 9. Well, give me some time. I don't have one of these. A USB drive. I can't put this in the back of your neck and give you English. Oh, I know. You could connect your head to my head via Bluetooth and I could stream, I can broadcast, I can emit, I can give you my English into your head. And then as an exchange, you can give me your language. This technology doesn't exist yet. It might someday in the future, but even then it'll be crap. Listen to one of your speakers, smart speaker. Tell it to read a story. And it speaks in a smart speaker voice. It has no intonation. It's a computer programmed trying to speak a language. There's no human quality. There's no empathy. There's no connection. It's just pure technology. It's amazing technology. We had nothing like this when I was growing up. It's absolutely incredible. But it doesn't replace people. So, I don't have one of these. You can come to me with your preliminary exam next month, or your first certificate exam in 2 months, your advanced English exam in a month and a half. You want to get a 9 in your IELTS, you want to do well in your TOEFL. I can't do this. I can't give you this. I can, but you need to be motivated, and motivation comes from within. I can't make you sit in my classroom or connect to me virtually on the internet. What I can do is I can give you structure. I can tell you how to pass an exam. I can coach you in exam techniques. Oh, well, the examiner is looking for this, and this. You give me a writing, I'll say, okay, well, look, it's just random paragraphs that don't even answer the question. Read the exam question. This is what the question is asking. This is how many paragraphs you should write. This is the kind of grammar you should be using. This is the kind of vocabulary you should be using. This is how you prepare to answer your questions. It's a lot more about just learning how to speak a language if you want to do an exam. But if you want to do exams and pass exams, does that mean you want to have conversations in English? Not necessarily. Does it mean you want to have conversations with native speakers of English? Probably not, because most work interactions across the globe in English are conducted by people who all use English as a second language. There might be occasions where you have to speak to somebody in the USA or the UK or Australia, New Zealand, South Africa, countries like these, but then you might be speaking to people from China, Spain, Germany, Norway, Turkey, who knows, but they're probably not native speakers of English, yet you still have to communicate effectively in English. But then Globish, as they call the New English, do you need to know such a huge bank of phrasal verbs? Is that something you really need to be worried about, when often there's a normal direct verb that can be used instead? Do you need to know how to construct the passive voice? Because let's be honest, who does it? Future perfect. Wow! No wonder it's at B2, because nobody uses it. The most of the English grammar you need to know is done at the B1 level and the beginnings of B2. Up above that, that's just stuff that people use sometimes, not every day of the week. I seldom use a passive voice when I'm speaking with my family or with my friends, so why get preoccupied about it? So, to answer my question, can I teach you a language? The answer is yes and no. I can teach you English, I can teach you Spanish, French, I can teach you Italian probably, but only up to such a level. After that, the onus is on you. You have to choose your English. What do you use it for? What do you need it for? How are you going to progress? And of course, I'm always here to help. This is more of a language coaching rather than teaching mentality. Of course, I'm always here to take people through that journey, as all good teachers should be. So, it's over to you. It's up to you. Anyway, I hope you've liked this video. Please leave some comments in the comment box below. If there's anything else I can help you with, please inform me. But in the meantime, why not hop over to Podbean and have a look at the Real Speak podcasts over there to get some real English in context. Because if you've got an intermediate to advanced level of English, I'm here to help you get that English in context and really get it moving. So, okay, take care. Bye bye.